Ugh. All right, welcome back to Rob this week. We are going into part two of the diorama build, building the wall. By the time I'm done with this video, or we are done watching this video, this is what we are looking to accomplish. This is the final product. So we're gonna do some painting. We're gonna do all the painting, a little bit of weathering, and then that's it. Part three, we'll come back. We'll do some more intense weathering, probably change some things, add some things, make it a little bit more original. Maybe do some graffiti. Who knows? Garbage bags, that type of stuff. Um, Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will not hold you up and get into the actual painting process. Wait, before we get there, I have since that video improved on the lighting, and I'm trying to clean everything up. So hopefully going forward, the videos will look a lot better than they have been. But I started, so on to the video. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is start painting. So a big project like this, you got black for the street, you got gray for the concrete. Street's black. It's asphalt. You don't want to get paint on your hands? Put some gloves on. You don't want to get paint on your surface? Put something down. So since we did the carving on the side of the wall, now these pallets, they sell them at Dollar Tree. I think it's a buck for like three of them. You watch my other videos, mine are usually dirty. I thought I'd be nice and break out a clean one. Get this streamy stuff with this stuff. The reason I'm using the palette now is because I'm going to mix to make a gray for the actual sidewalk, concrete. I do recommend painting all your pieces before gluing them together, so you don't have to struggle to try to, get down here when the wall's up. We're putting it together now. We're building it as we go. So, there's certain things you could just do to make it easier later. I mean, you could just glue it all together, call it a day, not even paint it. And painting's optional. That's that. There's your street. Done. We're gonna take some white, put that in with the black. I like to wet my brush a little. I don't know how many people are cringing right now that I actually dipped my brush in dirty water, but it's diorama making. I don't know if you could see that. That gray is too dark. That gray would actually be a better gray for the street. So it's not just pitch black. So I'll just go through and give it a lighter tone real quick. And some more white. Mix it up a little. That looks a lot better. And since it's a sidewalk and it's concrete and there's variations in the colors, you don't even have to mix it that well. Come in and start plastering it on. There's no secret. It's literally just go. Just go. Just do it. You don't see me doing any special techniques here. I'm just making sure that I get the paint into the little nooks and crannies we made with the aluminum foil. For some, this part might be a little tricky, but you just come through and just want to cut those lines like you're painting a bedroom wall. You can get as close to the black without going on the black. And if you know what, if you do go on the black, big deal. Go over it with black again or leave it. You might like it. And then again, I'll hit the side real quick because we did the other sides. And this stuff dries relatively quick. I mean, it's not instantaneous, but I mean, I'm already touching this black and I'm only getting very little. And when I do this, that's going to get on there. But All right, look at that. I got paint all over my hands and I got a sidewalk and a street partially done. It's done. I'm gonna try to move it out of the way, but somewhat keep it somewhere in frame. Clean my brush off a little bit. Grab my red. Now, I haven't used some of these colors in a while, so I don't know how good this is gonna come out. Sometimes when you haven't used these colors in a while, they get that little film on top. You gotta take the top off, peel that stuff all off the dried paint, but it worked. Now this red is like a Christmas red. It's actually Christmas red. I didn't even know that. It's a Christmas red. So I think it's too bright. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this and I'm gonna mix it in there. You're gonna get more of a brownish color. It already dyed it down. And again, it's natural, brick and whatnot. So the colors could vary. You don't have to go crazy mixing this stuff in. Get it into those little nooks and crannies. And this first coat of the brick, you really don't have to worry too much about because we're gonna go over it with some stuff later. Bit of a wash, bring out some of the detail, and maybe a quick dry brush to bring out the highlights, which I'm sure you've heard the terms. But they're not hard. Like I said, I'm gonna walk through all of this. So after I finish this, I'm gonna take a break to let this dry and come back and work on it some more. And have it. Brick wall, street, and I'll do the top piece. I might do that off camera. No, I won't. I'll do this when I come back. Actually, no, I'll do it right now. Let me just, yep, set time on that one. My brush do its thing over there. So this is gonna be the topper piece I'm gonna use for this. So for this, I'm just gonna come through and I'm gonna do it like this other one. I'm gonna trim the edge off of it to give it that stone look. And around the other side, gonna pick how many sections of stone I wanna do. Not even gonna measure. Do a cut here. Do another stone halfway there, and obviously another stone halfway there. I'm through with the pen. I'm gonna widen it real quick. These, since they're stone, I definitely want to do more of a deeper cut here. You're putting the blade in at an angle to cut it. There's no specific angle. You're just gonna come through. If you're trying to get a precise cut for whatever reason, then you're gonna want to measure your angles out. But if you're doing natural objects like stone, there is no perfect. There's imperfections in all of this stuff. Come back through, maybe go a little bit deeper with that center line. Come down the front to the center line. Do the same in the front if you want to give it that little bit of depth. Cut out the chunks. Clean up some of these little scraps off of your desk so they don't keep sticking to you and annoying you. If for some reason Styrofoam does that. Come through with your foil ball. Add some texture to the stone on top. This one we could actually come through and even do the bottom and give it a little trim. My dogs are barking. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. There you go. Now you have your stone piece, topper piece thingy for there. So now come through, you still have this gray. I don't want the gray to look like the gray on the sidewalk. So I'm gonna add a little bit more white. There's some red on the brush and stone has different colors. So I'm actually gonna mix that in. Just kind of see what color comes up. Still came out pretty gray, but a little tint of gray. We're gonna do the same thing. I'll paint this. This one you want to make sure you get the bottom a little bit because we made that little undercut. And my top camera started recording. For some reason, it only does 20-minute clips. Then it stops. Then I have to start recording again. It's just my Nikon that I use for my photography stuff. All right, that's that. And I will be back once that dries. So at this point, you could glue this together and be done. And I meant to plug in my glue gun, and I forgot. Another hobby at one point in my life. But we're gonna add a little bit more. So we haven't used any white. We take a little bit of white, put a little bit on our brush, and then we're gonna wipe a lot of it off. And we're gonna come through and just brush over the top of all of this. Get those corners. And I don't even know if you can really see that. That came out whiter. That looks brighter than it actually is. Oh, why is this so blurry? You're basically taking your white paint or your highlight color. You could use a lighter shade of gray, whatever you want to highlight with. Yellow, but white's a good highlight color. It brings out all the peaks. So the reverse of the wash is meant to be thin and get into all the cracks. This is meant to do the opposite. This is meant to be a little bit thicker and get those areas that are sticking up high. So basically, if light were casting on it, it would be those highlight areas. Now, this section is very porous because of where we cut it. You could go through and seal it with Mod Podge, but I'm trying to stay as basic as possible. So I'm just gonna see how this kind of looks with a nice little white dry brush. I mean, it is the street. These edges, that's where highlights would kind of come up. That's it. Do the same with this. This you could actually use the red straight from the bottle. It'll give it like that nice pop to it. Just gonna hit it with this white. So you see, most of the paint is on me, not on the actual model that we're working at. If it goes on too thick, go over it with a dark color. If it's like too white, go over it with a dark color. Don't forget your sides. That's the wall. And now our top piece. And it's typically easier to go in one direction. You'll see where the highlights kind of start popping out. So if you go this way, you're going to see it hit all the crests and peaks up that way. You wipe off a little too much, get back into it. Just lightly drag it across the top. You're just like, almost like you're trying to brush sand off of something. So if you watch like those archaeology, Indiana Jones or Jurassic Park, and they find a fossil and they're just like, brushing the dirt off and the mud off of everything. Same thing. You're just going to give it a nice little, just quick once over. See, this is lighter than that. So the stone is a different color than the concrete. You could brighten this up if you want. You could darken this up, brighten this up. This is what we have going on. And again, right there, you can just glue all this together, put a little figure on there, put your little fingerboard, skateboard thingy on there. You're good to go. One last thing I want to do real quick, the line. The line that I did on this one, the street line. Normally, I would recommend using a sponge brush for that. But since we didn't buy a sponge brush because we're using basics, we're just going to use a brush. Oh, and you ask how I made that line so straight? Scotch tape. Oh no, I cut it too short. Grab some Scotch tape. Try to line it up the best you can. Make sure the edges where your paint's gonna go are pushed down. Now a sponge is better because you dab. We're gonna make it yellow. We're gonna make a yellow line. Add some color. Sponge brush would definitely, oops, oops, work better. Where's my dirty brush go? I will clean this water up at some point. Not right now. Get a little bit on your brush. Honestly, I would recommend wiping a little off and just because you don't want it to go under the lines. You want to get it as straight as possible. But if you do, it'll just look like the guy that painted the line that day didn't go straight. I would not go this way. I would definitely go this way. That way you're going with the tape. You have less chance of it getting underneath the tape. I would not fill in those deep crevices because that's where like the street kind of broke apart. There you go. Did you really ask for anything more? Got a little out here, but who cares? It's a happy mistake. So I didn't want to glue this because I want to add some graffiti or something to the wall to give it more detail. But I will glue this top piece on. So hot glue, low setting, get it on there, get it on there. So you line it up wherever you want to line it up. I'm lining this up to the backside. So the backside is flush. Your edges are flush. It's hot glue, so it dries relatively quick. And now you have a lip of the stone hanging off. There's a miscut here somewhere, so there's a gap. You know what? Once again, happy mistakes adds character to it. If you really want to, you can say you're done. Like I said, put some figures up there, use it as a backdrop for something, take pictures with it, whatever. You can say you're done. So that's your basic. You know what? Do not forget to unplug your hot glue gun. I forget to unplug it all the time. Do not put it away until it cools down because this tip right here, where the glue comes out, I keep looking at that camera. I should be looking at this one. Is hot. So make sure you got your little kickstand or if it has some sort of holder, don't leave it near anything that you don't want to catch fire because we don't want to start a fire. Like the fire. Oops. I don't want to get hit with a copyright. So yeah. So I mean, there you go. So I dabbed the two little corners with hot glue just so I could hold it up and present it. Um, when I decide to come back and do any graffiti, I mean, I could do everything upside down. If you have a picture, turn the picture upside down and draw it. But I'll probably just rip it off and then glue it back for part two. But I mean, that's as basic as you can get. You got your wall, your topper, sidewalk, and a section of street. You know, you're into fingerboarding. It's not the best material for fingerboarding, but you know, you could display them. You know, of course, it doesn't want to stay. There you go. Kind of stayed. So, you know, that's your basic. Styrofoam. What do we have? Four coats of paint, two brushes, out of dirty water, knife, aluminum foil. I mean, I don't think it could really get on the glue gun, on the palette. A dirty palette and a pen. We got what? Paint, that's one. Pen, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Seven things. Seven things we use to make eight if you count the water. Things that we use to make a Diorama out of Styrofoam, including the Styrofoam 9. Oh, roller 10. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna turn this camera around and set it up so I could actually talk to you for the outro. All right, thank you for stuck around to the end. If you're watching this now, hopefully you could tell that right now the sound quality is better than it was in that video. During that video, I was using my AirPods to record audio. I did not have a mic. I did receive a mic for Christmas, for the holidays, and I have been working on setting that up. So the video you saw was part 2, all the painting, some weathering, dry brushing, all that stuff, washes. Stick around for part 3. I'm gonna get a little bit more crazy with the detailing of it. Probably some more weathering. I might change some stuff. I'm gonna add a gutter underneath the sidewalk section where the road dips. Figured I'd incorporate that. Maybe some graffiti, some of the little miniature plastic bags. I'll walk through how to do the garbage bags to put out there, how I do the graffiti on there. Hopefully you learned something from this video. Like, subscribe, leave comments down bottom if you have any questions about any specific part of the process. Feel free to ask. If you want to jump in and just have fun, me using dirty palettes and dirty water sometimes, leave a comment. I enjoy to watch them and read them and whatnot. But stay tuned. I'll bring in another one next week. All right, thank you.